What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. You know we got some tea to get into. But before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, girl, including YouTube. We got a popping over there. Okay? Now look. It's been a minute. I've been busy. Yeah, normally I have my content done ahead of time, but girl, we've been so underwater with doing shit that I'm just like, it's whatever. I can take a little break and substitute content. Like, it's so totally fine with me. If I need to take a break and rest, I'm totally cool with that. Like, it's no stress for me. Like, I prioritize it. Absolutely. But, today we're discussing the iHeart Radio Music Festival. Okay. And I'm not sure that I've done a podcast about the festival. And that's kind of interesting because the festival is awesome. It's always fantastic. And I got to give it up to them. It's very consistent. I remember, I've been going to the iHeart Festival for about 5 years now consistently. Okay. And the first year I went, they were still doing the iHeart daytime stage where they would pick, maybe some legacy artists and maybe some newer artists and put them on a platform on a stage and create kind of like this outside festival thing at Area 51. And it was popping. It really was popping. It was hot as hell, but it was popping. And one year I went and Olivia Rodrigo performed. It was her first concert ever. It was wonderful. The next year I went, Chloe performed, and Avril Lavigne, like just so many different acts I got to see out there on that stage. They don't really do it anymore, but I miss it. It really gave a platform to certain artists that people loved who maybe didn't make it to main stage. And I'm sure the Heat had a lot to do with the decision to not do that. They've invested a lot more into festivities outside of the festival. But I feel like they could bring that back. I feel like they could probably do a little bit more to invest in it, to maybe even invest in stations. And I know they've tried to do certain little cooling stations, but I think that they definitely could invest in it a bit more. I feel like it could really be a successful thing. And most times people don't even really know about it. And that's what's crazy to me because they know about the iHeart Music Festival, but a lot of people didn't know about the daytimes. Like, girl, they was eating that up. I saw Tate McRae there. That was the first time that I had seen Tate McRae. She ate that up, but it was during this time where she was kind of dancing, not the way that she does now. And it was more tomboyish. And again, it's been amazing to see her transformation as an artist because I've seen her from the daytime stage to performing this year. And wow, I mean, 5 year difference, right? In 5 years, she did that. So you got to give the girl her tens. And, also just kind of seeing how iHeartRadio has kind of transformed the festival has been amazing. Obviously, it's a long standing thing, but I feel like they keep it relevant. I, so I think sometimes, and I don't know how the booking thing works, right? I feel like sometimes maybe they missed the mark a bit on the audience. And like, I mean, I don't, it feels like whoever gets booked versus targeting specific audiences. And I'm sure they do that generally speaking by whoever they can get. Oh, this is a country artist, this is blah 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 blah. But like, maybe like study the times a bit more on who people are, who's relevant to certain demographic. Like it feels like they're trying to do that, but it's kind of missing the mark. Like you're almost there. That's what it feels like to me, because they are kind of having an issue where, you know, people will stay for a certain act, and then a lot of people will leave after that act, you know? And I feel like they're going to have to find a way to make their lineups just more banging. What else can I say? It's not that they don't have heavy hitters, and you know what I mean? Like some of their acts lend or lean into nostalgia. And I feel like they definitely need that. But like last year, for example, they couldn't have had a more perfect lineup, period. And I couldn't have said that the year before. And I wouldn't have said that this year. And I'm sure things happen. People pull out, things originally planned didn't work out. Like that happens every year. I remember Nicki Minaj, she was going to be there one year and then she ended up pulling out almost at the last minute. But I just I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping that they begin to get a lineup that draws people into the show who want to stay for the show. I would just like to see that. And there's another issue of, well, who should close and who shouldn't close. But I don't know if it comes from the standpoint of production or not. So I don't know how all of that works, but what I can tell you is that they always make it a party. And every artist that does perform gives a show. And the people who are there watching do have a good time. This year was phenomenal, you know? Um, I think both nights there was a closer that a lot of people weren't feeling. And so they dipped. So the closers of the show, it seemed like the person who performed before the closer was the closer, which was interesting to me. And again, I don't know if it was a production thing, but you know, mm, I'm drinking my water. Make sure you are too. But here's what I'll say too. There's nothing like the iHeart Festival. There's not many brands, or generally speaking, there are not many platforms or shows like iHeartRadio, where it's this massive concert with all of these major names in one place, more than one day. Who does that? Like, it's actually pretty crazy what you go to see at that festival. And sure, yeah, most festivals are outside. They are. A whole like concert festival inside, like, girl, like that's such a gag to me. That really is. I mean, I think about Wingo Tingle, that's outside. Like, you know? I mean, whoa. So if you haven't been to the iHeart Festival, I would totally recommend going. It is worth it. Even if you aren't feeling the whole entire lineup, you are going to have a blast. I think that you should go. I had the joy of working the festival the last 2 years, actually. And it has been such a pleasant experience for me. I love who I work with. I love the people who come for the show, the workers at the venue. I just feel like things are chaotic, but run smoothly, right? And I don't know, like I started off again going as a fan. I was going to iHeartRadio for a good 3 years before I started working in. And when I was, going as a fan, I was kind of like, you know, I would love to be on the other side of this, you know, and really just kind of in the space of the production. And I work towards that. And it's just honestly, it's a dream to me. It is. And it was kind of a moment because this is, you know, my second year doing this specific event. So coming into it, it was just kind of, I knew what I was doing. I was very secure in that, and I was very confident in the job performance. So, snaps and claps, girly, for growth. This festival has been, and it's crazy to say, the festival has been the last 5 years of my life. And it's the funniest shit to me because I specifically remember I was in Kentucky at this time. And I think it was like 2017, 2018 ish, maybe dipping into 2019. So about 2.5 years. And I had been saying, you know, I'm going to work for iHeartRadio. And I had been saying this to my friends. And to be honest, like, I believed that they were hopeful I would get there. But I'm not too sure that at the time they really believed it would become true. And it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, I knew it would, genuinely, I knew that I would be in the spaces that I am now. I have always been sure of it. I didn't know how. I used to talk about it all the time. I would tell my friends all the fucking time what I would be doing. And I'm sure a lot of people just, again, like I said, thought it would just be hopeful plans because, at the time I was in Kentucky, and in Kentucky, there isn't much there that provokes you to dream big. And it's really one of, like, statistically, it's really one of the most depressed places, period. So it's just a lot of being stuck in a rut and being in that place where you're really kind of also surrounded by a lot of people who don't really want more in the capacity that you do. So you kind of outgrow it. And when you can't reach the spaces that you want to, that becomes depressing. So getting my ass out of there to where I am, thank God for family, because I don't know how else that would have happened. But making that transition really put me in a position to be like, okay, I feel like I'm in the space to go for this. I've been wanting to work for iHeartRadio literally for over a decade. And it just makes sense to me that I authentically find my way into working the iHeartRadio Music Festival. It's absolutely mind blowing, but it's also constantly a reminder to me that I am exactly where I need to be and should be. It's so true. And, I've been getting a lot of that lately. And I don't really stress about it in the sense of not that, oh, it doesn't never pop up in my mind, or, I don't want to, I don't know, like, achieve these things. But also at the same time, I'm so confident in the fact that it's coming that when it's other people's turn, I'm clapping for them. I'm excited for them because my turn is coming. That's fine. I feel a sense of peace with that. So I don't feel any need to rush. Long story short, I don't feel the need to rush. So with things like the podcast, with YouTube, blah, 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 all of that, it's going at its own pace. And it is going to happen in time, whenever the time is right, because I am exactly where I should be. So, snaps and claps for that bitch. And I mean, all of this started with iHeartRadio. Truly, I mean, the podcast is on iHeartRadio. Well, sometimes imposter syndrome likes to set in. It does. And when I sit and I just think about it for a moment, I'm like, oh wow. Like it's like, did I really like do that? Is that real? I sometimes, because again, I know it's gonna happen. But when it does, I'm kind of like, wait, what? What do you mean? I have a hard time accepting that it's reality. Like, your YouTube channel has almost 4 million views on it. That is reality. Your content has been viewed almost 4 million times. And I feel like that's an insane thing to think about. What do you mean? And I don't think I really understood the weight of that until I came across a friend that was like, I don't like being perceived. 100 views is a lot to me. And I know that because my goal for my videos was always, just 100 views on this, 100 views, or whatever. And it grew to 100, 1,000, 2,000, whatever at this point. And I don't know, you almost kind of, I don't want to say the word desensitized, but like, you, it kind of loses the effect at some point because I know it's just a number to me. And maybe that sounds crazy, but I kind of disassociate from the fact that that number carries any meaning. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, bitch. Okay? Like, I just don't care about the number. Like, oh, that's 2,000 people. Oh, I didn't even really think about it like that. I don't know what else to say. It's interesting, being a YouTuber because at some point it just kind of like you have to wear so many hats as a YouTuber if you are especially a YouTuber who is a part of the partnership program. Like, you actively have to keep yourself above water and also have to shift narratives and just do so many different things that it just kind of becomes work to me. Like, oh, this video got 50 views. That's great. The other one got 20,000 2 days ago. So, like, what does it even really mean? It's just the algorithm being dumb to me. It has nothing to do with me. So, there's this confidence really that really has been instilled. And again, honestly, y'all, this really all goes back to iHeartRadio. My love for iHeartRadio. I can't like oh my god, am I in love with iHeartRadio? Like, maybe we're soulmates. Like, it's giving that at this point. But you know, like I said, I love nothing better than music, and I just feel like it's a platform that does nothing but platform music. And I feel like they go out of their way to platform new artists. And, if there's certain reality TV shows, singing competitions, iHeartRadio will platform this new artist, maybe that wins the competition, and they usher in new talent and they uplift legacy artists and They also, give platforms to artists who are promoting their work. They're friendly behind the scenes, all through and through. They have good relationship with the artists. They treat even the people backstage down to a production assistant. They're treating them like friends and humans, and it's honestly just a good environment. It is genuinely, and I feel like iHeartRadio, what you see is what you get, and you can feel that backstage too, at the festival. You can feel the love. You can feel the hard work. You can feel the tiredness. There's been a lot of work going on up in that arena. I tell you that now, okay? Everybody is working hard, putting up the stage, moving it in and out, but also the people in the stands, also the people standing in the crowd, security. You also got the T-Mobile Arena staff all over the arena. Like there's so many moving parts to a production, yes. But this scale of a production, so many. And I'm thankful that I also work with a lot of great people because it just went so smooth. You know, a lot of us, it was our first time last year. So, we got a little banged up, just a little bit, just a little bit. But we ate, and, the energy of the crowd really helped feed us. I think it helped feed the artist. The artist really, I felt like the crowd gave them some energy. I really did. And it was just all around a good experience. Truly. I can't wait for next year. Truly. One thing that you can always count on is that the iHeart Festival is going to be here every year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Outside, you got free things. Free things that you can do. They had Julia Michaels outside, Diplo outside the first day. I mean, girl, come on. Mm-mm-mm. I'm telling you, they had a Ferris wheel, everything. It chewed. I had the time of my life. People outside had the time of their lives. Why not come out? Anywho, that's all I really have for today. Just a little update, per podcast, update on each little thing that we've experienced, we've done, whatever, blah blah blah. Next week, I'm sure we'll talk about being on set. We have a lot of things to discuss, but for the time being, y'all, I'm hopping off here. It's been a long couple weeks. I'm going to rest. I'm going to sleep. Okay? I need it. I'm sure you do too. Make sure you take care of yourself, eat some good food, drink some water. If you don't take care of yourself, who the hell else will? Okay? I'm hopping off here. And I will see you on the next podcast. Peace. Oh, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. Okay, now, bye.